Project Venture creates artificial opportunities for youth to be successful in some challenging circumstances, which we use the outdoors to facilitate that experience. The hope is that the students transfer that feeling of success and empowerment to their personal lives, whether it might give them the opportunity to think, okay, I really can go to school, kind of creating possibility where it wasn't there already. I think that's huge.
Project Venture developed from a dream that I had back in the 70s. I didn't understand. I had no idea what it meant. It came to me one night and I carried it with me for several years until I found the person who could interpret it and explain it to me, and I did find that person. I was recruited to come back to Oklahoma to run the alternative school for Cherokee Nation, and one of the first people I met was the most highly respected medicine person, healer in the Cherokee Nation at that time, and he adopted me and considered me one of his sons for the rest of his life. And he told me to put together my outdoor adventure experiential learning background with my experience as a teacher and principal of some tribal schools and my passion for helping young people who are struggling growing up like I did. And he supplied the cultural and spiritual foundation under the whole thing. And we put it together and it became Project Venture and was designated by SAMHSA as the most effective program for Native youth in the National High-Risk Youth Study that was done several years ago.
I think my calling has always been to work with the youth. Just learning alongside of them as well. They teach us just as much as we teach them. We're always learning. And I enjoy that. And a lot of it stems from my grandpa, and a full circle moment is working with Project Venture. And my grandpa's vision was eventually to have Project Venture in all the schools on our reservation, which is a lot. We do have a lot of schools on the reservation, but I really would like to help the community and help these youth.
On the reservation, a big population of our people live in poverty. And, the harsh reality that these children go home to is, the drugs and the alcohol and the opioids and gun violence. And, our people suffered a lot through historical trauma. It impacted a lot of families. We really want to see Project Venture in these different schools because it's such a healthy and positive program, and a lot of our students need that hope. We're working together as a team to service the children as best as we can because that's what we're here for.
Project Venture takes you out of your comfort zones. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take you out of them to where you're what we call the stretch zone. So you're able to learn. It's an area where you do the most learning.
There are several components, in school weekly, after school weekly, day-long sessions once a month, several overnight trips, and then culminating in a summer camp. And then along the line, also they incorporate service learning projects, sessions with families, getting the family involved so that they can learn a little bit about what their students have been doing. But it's really great, just a lot of opportunity for students to get to know themselves better, to realize their strengths.
To see those students kind of come out of their comfort zones and try these different activities, just like even if it's simple as speaking in front of their peers or just little steps like that. And just to see, even seeing the difference from the beginning of the camp to the end, it was really a positive, a good feeling coming home. And of course, being in the Black Hills, of course, is real sacred to the Dakota and Dakota people. So to be here always feels like home, and you don't want to leave when you're here. So to be around the youth and be up here, it was definitely a very healing experience and something that will probably always sit with me.
Really, all of the funding for Project Venture that we write for and receive through grantors such as OJJDP and other folks go really directly to covering all of the expenses it takes to implement the program. That is no cost to their families whatsoever. And so they get to engage in, year-long adventure activities. They get to go on trips, to different states, visit all kinds of national parks, state parks, monuments, travel to places they haven't seen before and might not ever get to see before. A lot of those experiences are life-changing, core memory, things that happen for kids.
We're doing this program now, and thinking back to my younger days, being in school, I wish I had this. Like the activities we do and just bringing them out of their shells, I wish I had that.
I grew up like a lot of the kids we work with, being really poor and people weren't very accepting. So I think we've figured out just kind of the magic formula of getting kids in the outdoors and reconnecting kids to the natural world that is the thing that's missing. I mean, you can be living on a reservation and not be connected to the natural world, but when you get kids out in the woods, they just blossom in that environment, and especially when they overcome some really challenging physical, psychological things and realize, hey, I can do that. And you take that confidence to other situations that transfers to back at school or in the family or socially or wherever it comes out. It was a real gift that came to me in that dream, and I had no clue, what does this mean? Put me on this path for 40-some years now.